Namaom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Vishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatayani Jai Srila Prabhupada. So today I'd like to discuss Srila Prabhupada's prediction for the collapse of Western of world materialistic society, the demoniac so-called culture of the world. So anyone who is a little bit tuned in can see that we are entering into that collapse phase. So today I saw a video on the 2030 channel, Adapt 2030, where he discusses historical observation of the sequence of development and collapse of different societies, and that it happens in cycles. So we're also aware of the cyclical nature of this material manifestation. We know that there are the 4 yugas, that we are in the final yuga at the early stages, relatively speaking, where there's a short, when I say short, it means 10,000 year period where perhaps we have maybe 9,400 years left of this golden age. So before the golden age, there has to be the destruction of the current Rakshasa civilization. So that is the stage that we're entering now. So I noticed that even amongst many devotees, that somehow what we would call normalcy bias in the most extreme form is taking place, where even though Srila Prabhupada predicted that by next year, 2023, the whole the whole materialistic civilization would be finished. Still, there are expectations, just like in this video that I saw today on Adapt 2030, where he says, well, yes, and we may go through a period of 15 to 20 years after this current system collapses, whereby the new material system will re-emerge again and bring society to the materialistic heights that it was before 2019. So I think this limited conception of the collapse of Western civilization, with the idea that it can somehow be reinstated as the predominant paradigm in the world, this materialistic civilization, is incomplete. Is foolish understanding. the most important thing for devotees to remember is that the history and everything that happens on the sociological and other realms in society is actually not materially important. What is important is the plan of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. The whole scheme of collapse of this materialistic society is because there is no longer any practical expansion of the Krishna consciousness movement, and nor is there really any vision for manifesting that. So this system whereby there was facilitation for Srila Prabhupada to travel around the world, to print the books, to establish the foundation of Krishna consciousness and teach us the principles of Krishna consciousness, those opportunities were all arranged by Gaur Nitai. And the current collapse of Western civilization is also being arranged by Gaur Nitai, by the material energy on behalf of Gaur Nitai. So the idea that there will again be some kind of resurgence of this materialistic civilization in a technocratic and way is just not understanding what's going to take place. It will never re-emerge. Of course, the Rakshasas who are running the world right now, that is their dream, that they're going to have an utter collapse of the civilization. They're going to direct this total, utter collapse of the current civilization, and then the Great Reset, where they will have utter technocratic control, not only of the minds of men, but of every aspect of human society and any other. So the part that they will be successful in is manifesting the destruction of the current system. But that's as far as it'll get. There will never be a reestablishment of this technocratic civilization. So the vision that Srila Prabhupada has given us is that there will be a society again based on simple living, and by Lord Chaitanya's and Lord Nityananda's mercy, high thinking established in the world. This idea of local self-sufficiency, this mode of life, was the prevailing mode of life up until the 20th century. The people all over the world were largely locally self-sufficient, and the example, especially in India, where raising cows, protecting cows, and local village life and self-sufficiency. This has been Krishna's system since time immemorial. So that system, again, that will re-emerge, because this artificial system of life based on oil and so many artificial measures, it is not sustainable, because it is artificial, and an artificial thing, as Srila Prabhupada said, cannot stand. So although even some devotees seem to hope that somehow by some manipulation, some protest, or some that it can again be reestablished, that this system, it will never be reestablished, because it was not worthy of being reestablished. It's a system whereby millions of unborn babies were murdered, where millions of cows were murdered without any no protection for the innocent, and without any focus in the society on the purpose of human society, namely God realization, self-realization. So a society that has that society, Krishna will not bring that back, and it's not a desirable outcome anyway. It's a desirable outcome for it to be utterly smashed and destroyed. So yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Whenever and wherever there's this predominant rise of a religion, Krishna manifests himself, and Srila Prabhupada indicated that Krishna would manifest in the form of war and destruction, and we're entering that period right now, where every aspect of society is collapsing. All aspects, all the infrastructure, whether it's food, whether it's food production, whether it's the fuel system, the security of the people, the income, everything is collapsing. So somehow we're in this transformative period. In the 2030 video, he indicated that he thought that the transformation period based on previous cycles would be it, 20 years, 15, 20 years, like that, 10 to 20 years of the very turbulent before the new system arises. And we see in Vedic analysis, the societies go through these artha, dharma, kama, and moksha phases, where there's a predominant ethos where people initially just want to develop their infrastructure, and then their religious propensities, and then it goes into a cycle which we have seen, the sense gratification, and then during the period when Srila Prabhupada was physically manifest, especially, there was this sense of renunciation. There was this sense of giving up this materialistic life and aspiring for moksha, for liberation, of like that. So those cycles are there, and this cycle, I think it's probably correct that there will be a period of 10 to 20 years following the complete destruction of this current system before a stable Vedic or other alternative sustainable system is fully established. So Prabhupada has told us that that if we want to save ourselves, we should establish Krishna-conscious, self-sufficient farm communities. He said it a number of times, and there's no question that that is his command for us. So this is a very strange resistance by a large segment of the devotee community to adopting a rural lifestyle. They're somehow attached to city life. It's a topic for another video, but all I can say is that this is not a viable long-term option. So there's this whole prepping community amongst the general society, people who can see the writing on the wall that things are going to collapse, and their idea is to prep to somehow survive through that turbulent transformative period. And it's a very valid materialist, from the material point of view. I think it's an intelligent thing to do. But our life isn't preparation in a sense. Our life is, as the popular hippie expression in the 60s, be here now. Our life is actually the life we lead right now. So the life of Krishna-conscious self-sufficiency is actually very conducive to Krishna consciousness. It's not that living in the city and I don't know, having big TVs and all the mod cons, it will somehow is very facilitating for Krishna consciousness. It was tolerated in order to try to preach and establish the Krishna consciousness movement. It was useful, but real life actually is Krishna's arrangement, where cows are protected, they provide milk, simple agricultural work and the rest of the time is dedicated to directly Krishna conscious activities. So I would just like to encourage any devotees who have been postponing or thinking that somehow they shouldn't really be concerned with establishing or moving to Krishna conscious farm community, that they should actually take the steps. And even older devotees, they really don't, in our line, we really don't have age as an excuse. Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 70, never having traveled outside of India, took on the task of arriving in a completely alien culture, and traveled all over the world despite any health challenges, and established this Krishna consciousness movement. So our attempt to say, "Oh, now I'm 68 or I'm 72. I just need to. I can't start any." No, just go for it. Just go for it. Srila Prabhupada went for it. He just had faith in Krishna and went for it, and did a very transformative thing in his life at such a advanced age. So, if we want to follow in Srila Prabhupada's footsteps, we shouldn't be deterred by so-called old age. But of course, ideally, young people will take to it, and I think the situation by Krishna's grace may become so materially dire that many devotees will consider it. But the sooner devotees consider actually taking to the Vedic lifestyle of simple living, rural community, simple living, and high thinking, that it facilitates, the better. So, Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.